why. Jeff thinks that I need like theme music right now. It's kind of loud. And I don't. He's driving.
This one.
Oh my gosh, what a headache. We were supposed to take the whole family because we have to shoot 2 weddings this weekend. It's a Friday wedding, a Saturday wedding. And things got so messy with, with like making arrangements for the kids. I was like, man, I really either need to stop having kids or stop taking these out-of-town weddings. And anyway, this year is pretty much like final year. We're 10 years in, we've been doing weddings for 10 years, and it's had a great run. It's definitely had a good run. And all our weddings are in California. I mean, because Vegas wedding, well, do I have to even get into what Vegas weddings are on this with you guys? I feel like I can't talk about the wedding thing yet until I've really, really retired completely from it. And then we'll see. But it's been an exhausting week, to say the least. So it's like a bit of a vacation for us, but we have to work. It's all the time whenever we leave town. That it's for work, and it's just the 2 of us. We're like, wow, it's alone time, which is why we've never really had like an actual vacation together. So yeah. Anyway, you guys, I know it's really random. I'm going live on like 5 o'clock? When does that ever happen? But I figured I'd have the time today. So who wants to talk about the topics of the week? These placenta stories. I got some of you guys tracking your midwives right now, okay? 2 of you. I will not name names, but 2 of you are going after, like, don't go, you know what? I feel bad because now it's like opened up this thing, right? Look at the babies. Who knew that their home, because the thing is, like, I know it's your placenta, but it's kind of your baby's home. Like, it's your baby's home, right? So did you know that your baby's home within your womb is the equivalent of like a down payment on a home outside the womb? And you guys all saw that snippet of that Bachelor clip, right, where he was saying that technically we're not really allowed to sell our own placentas, but that's why I was diving into that. That's why when I was talking on, did I leave live on, I think Tuesday this week? I was like, look guys, I'm going down this black market placenta rabbit hole here, because they need to have businesses in place, salespeople, marketing, that they deal with the hospitals, they deal with the pharmaceutical industry. I have a girl on here who told me that her midwife asked her if she wanted to encapsulate the placenta, and she didn't. She couldn't afford to at the time. She should have been given the option. Now, midwives shouldn't, right? It's like totally up to them if they want to give you that courtesy. But if you have a cool midwife or a doula, which is why it's honest, not just, did I just say cool? If you have an honest midwife or doula, they will tell you that if you can't afford to right now, then you can always bag it up, put it in a Ziploc bag, double bag that, and keep it in your freezer. Just keep it in your freezer. It can stay there for up to 6 months, and most doulas will still encapsulate it 6 months in. You know the power of these placentas, you guys? You have these people making tinctures, okay, out of placenta. So I was told, even if years later with my pills, if I still have stuff left, my doula can now, well, actually, she's, I believe, a midwife already. She can now make the pills. She can use what's left in the pills and turn them into these tinctures that could help my daughter when she's a teenager, when she goes through her menstrual period. It's amazing. So there's so many different uses for it. Anyway, I don't want to go. I feel like I can go off a million tangents right now because I got so many interesting stories that had come in from Placenta Gate. And one of you, and I will not name names, is out there right now. She's been driving around town today because her midwife told her, and she's in Texas, her midwife told her that, okay, well, if you don't want your placenta, I can get rid of it for you. And she was like, yeah, I can't afford to encapsulate. So since she couldn't afford to encapsulate, the midwife took it. Okay, I don't know what the contract looked like. I'm not trying to get involved in that one, but she texted the midwife after those stories and she said, hey, just curious, what happened with my placenta? Like, where did you bring it? And this midwife, who's very well known in that area in Texas, told her that she took the placenta to an animal shelter for whatever reason, like that the dog, I don't know. She said that, I donated it to an animal shelter. It's like, what? And so she started calling, now she's woke, okay? She's recently woke, though, to the placenta thing, and she started calling around animal shelters, and she's like, really, which one? So she's driving around Texas today, messaging me on this while I'm doing my meetings earlier, and I'm just like, I'm not ignoring your messages. I'm just cracking up right now because she's like, okay, I'm currently at the shelter. She's like, and they told me that they never take human parts. Like, never. They will never take a human anything. Like, so she lied about that. And I was like, okay, so we know that she lied to you. And we know that these dog shelters don't take human placentas as donations. So now, I don't know, guys. I don't know what she's going to do. Like, here's the thing. There's big money in this. There's big money in these parts, which is why how many of these testimonials that came in, that were pouring in after this placenta thing, they were more of the same. I want to say they all were different in a messed up kind of way. They had their own little messed up twist. But all of them were the same in that the parents just had no idea. They didn't even know of their rights. It also depended on the hospital policy. Some hospitals keep it in the freezers, and then they have people who come in and clear them out and probably take them. You see those pamphlets. Somebody shared that pamphlet of how it was like, here's what you can use with a placenta. You could donate your placenta. And mind you, I'm so happy, whoever the woke on here that caught all of the pedophile symbolism on that pamphlet, right? That pamphlet looked shady AF. And it's like, I'm sorry if you're new to this. If you're new here, new to this platform, please don't watch my lives. It'll just be like no good for you. I should have started with that. But anyway, a lot of pedo symbolism, right? Because I'm like, yeah, the pedos run this nation. You guys, they run the nation. They make all the policy. I'm sorry if you're new to this. But anyway. So it's messed up, right? That's why that's why welcome to this world here. Like, I have to sometimes get dark, cynical, and anyway. So interesting with that pamphlet, it's like, it's free for you to don't, it's at no, I think the wording, the verbiage was, it's at no cost to you. Really? Thank you. Thank you for not charging me to donate my placenta to you, who's going to make money off of it. And the pamphlet showed how the placenta can also help burn victims. So I have another woke mom on here who her daughter went through, anyway, she had given birth to her second daughter, and there was an incident where there was a burn, and she goes, yeah, they used whatever they gave us, it was of placenta ingredient to help with her burns, and that was likely donated placenta. But here's the thing, they billed her for it. You guys understand, donating your organs, donating your body parts doesn't mean that the person that's going to receive it and benefit from it isn't going to have to ante up. They have to pay. It's like donating to Goodwill. I donated to Goodwill, but last I checked, Goodwill doesn't turn around and like give away my goods that I gave away. They sell it. So it's a business. It's a business. And yeah, let me see these Pizzagate, Placentagate. Oh my gosh, yeah, you saw all those swirls and the pedo symbolism on there. Not good. Not good. They know that our bodies are more than capable. I had a lot of women who reached out that are of what is the proper word anyway? Can I still say Native American? Can I still indigenous? Like, anyway, Navajo in particular, who said, oh no, they don't even fight with us at the hospital. They let us take home our placenta because for generations we've taken our placenta and we bury it in the mountains. Like, we bury this. You guys know that even if you don't want to eat your placenta or encapsulate or do anything like that with it, you know that it's yours, right? You could literally take your placenta, even if it disgusts you, and you could bury it into the ground, and like the avocado tree that has not been able to grow for the past decade will flourish. You know that, right? I just have to get that out there. I'm like, what are we doing leaving these valuable parts with these people? And it is deep. And the more I looked into it, the more I was like, oh, I better be on like my VPN better be on right now because, you know, a lot of this stuff started popping up that it was all fake news. But we know another person reached out saying that their in-law sells placenta. You obviously can't go on Craigslist and put your placenta on there. Like, I don't think you can do that. I think that it involves having a license, but these salesmen know that these midwives are likely dealing with a lot of these home births, and half the time these women can't afford to do the encapsulation or they say no to it. And I'm just saying. So, see, people are like, you know, some people had no problem. There were definitely, I don't want to say all hospitals are bad and evil. That's not what I was saying. But there were some that reached out that said, no, my hospital had no problem with it, but they did read the birth plan. But the bulk of the stories that came in were people who were bullied about it. Several of you had to pay to take your placenta home. One of you had an argument with the nurse who pretty much bullied you and told you it would be a biohazard for you to take home. And then they basically put it in the equivalent of like a Chinese takeout box. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you or your situation. I'm sorry, don't take this in the wrong way. I'm laughing because this is so jacked up at this point. It's so jacked. And hey, I got lied to the first 2 times as well, all right? We couldn't take our placenta home those 2 times. Enter into another rabbit hole. Why do you think that they want to cut the cord so quickly too? And then they want to charge you for your stem cell cord. For them to keep it, freeze it, send all that information out. Where are they sending that off to? Washington, D.C.? Like, you guys, and then they're going to charge you a fee to keep it and then to, in the future, possibly be able to use it. This came out of you. Let's just sit with this for a second. We are being charged for what's in it. Like, wait, it comes out of you. And it's not yours if you're in a certain hospital. And apparently all these hospitals, they just have different bylaws. And so how do you address this? Well, you first of all, if you're pregnant, can I just say, if all you're doing is researching sushi, like I can't eat sushi and I can't, you know, I got to stay away from sushi and deli meat. That's like the max you're going to do in researching. Then you are easily going to be duped when you're in the hospital in regards to what it is your rights are. I had some horror stories that came in, admission from people who practically, like CPS in this country, okay, CPS, it's a private institution. You tell somebody that CPS is not government run, and they're like, what? What are you talking about? You're like, it's a private company. You know that, right? CPS is a private company. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to spend this life talking about CPS, but they work alongside hospitals, okay? Enough of you have come out and admitted. You can look up medicalkidnapping.com. You could look up all of these stories. They're online. They're there. People are out there sharing their stories because they don't want these things to happen to you. But you have people who have admitted that they have to come in and they work alongside the hospital, and the hospital literally is strong-arming these parents, and they want there to be some kind of write-up. It's almost like you're like a write-up. Okay, well, it needs to be at least a second-degree type of writing, filing, whatever terms they use, and they want some kind of disciplinary action on the parent. Wow. You know what? Giving birth is hard enough. Let's say you had none of all of this, none of these things you got to worry about. giving birth is stressful enough, okay? Your mind and where you should be when you're giving birth, just thinking about what we have done to ourselves, to our bodies, what we have put ourselves through, and that kind of trauma. And then we question why we've got this insane postpartum rate in this country where it's like 1 in 2 or more. It's almost like it's just not surprising anymore that women go through postpartum. The number one reason that I even thought to look into taking my placenta was because I didn't want to go through postpartum after being pregnant, because that's like across the board what people say works. And that's why I decided to take it. I didn't know it was going to give me an insane surplus in breast milk. I had no idea that it was going to help with that. And just the benefits of, my gosh, the list goes on. The list goes on. And you have people that are buying placenta online. Why are people taking sheep placenta? Well, according to my midwife too, she was talking with me about this the other day, because I was just very intrigued. I've been so intrigued by this whole week. She's like, well, the sheep's placenta is the closest to a human's placenta. So that's why people are spending so much money to taking sheep's placenta. It helps them with all kinds of things. She's like, their skin. It helps them with like just anxiety, like everything. Everything that's not FDA approved, it helps you with. It's just terrible. And I know I was like, I'm going to spend this time talking about the eye thing. I feel like I went over that enough. And you guys, I get to these levels where I'm like so paralyzed now with the conversation, because I know I got to finish and wrap up that eye thing. But then there's like this Lauren Book lady who's just getting under my last. I thought Lorena was bad. Insert Lauren Book. And then now the rabbit hole that I've already kind of been going down and understanding, which is the eye industry, the optometry industry in this country, which is $1 billion industry. There's like multiple reasons why they're messing with your kids' eyeballs on day one. Okay, like this is not conspiracy theory crap. Please look it up. Please look it up. You never get better. Your prescription never gets better when you wear glasses and contacts. It gets worse. You know that. It gets worse. I shouldn't even be wearing these right now, but the sun is it's in my face. But I know I need the rays of the sun actually are good for the retina. Like, I know this. I just can't live anymore. I can't even be a normal person. I can't be normal. I'm so far gone. I'm so far gone. Which is a good thing that I'm already taken. Sorry, fellas. Seat's taken. He doesn't care. He knows I'm nuts. He knows I'm nuts. I want to share this screenshot, but I haven't blocked off the name yet. She gave me permission. There's this girl on here who's single, who's struggling in the dating world right now. She's like, it's hard to be woke and single. I'm like, I feel you. And she's sending me messages of this guy that I don't know, I guess she's starting to date. And he literally texted her today, so are you one of those anti-vaxxers? Oh man, my heart. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she's like, so her response, it's not an anti-vax or pro-vax issue. I mean, I'm pro-medical freedom. And then he goes, so you're I don't know, I gotta send you the screenshot on here. What did he say? He's like, so you're pro-freedom, but not for the immunity of the herd or some shit like that. I gotta share it. I feel for her. But we could work on him, we could work on him. Just don't give up the goods. Don't give up the goods to any of these zombie men, that's for sure. You gotta feel them out. This would be a really tough time. I couldn't do it. That's why I have that one highlight Jeff and I did on like what dating would be like now. If I were to try to date somebody now, can you imagine? I don't think we'd make it to round 2. There's just no way. I'd have just way too many questions and concerns. And then I'd be like, well, how can you not care? How do you not care? about all of this, you know? So it would be really hard. I have to share that screenshot after I'm done with this live. Somebody remind me too, so that I don't forget. Let me read through some of these comments. Oh man. I was like, I was kind of nervous to get on a live today. I'm not going to lie. So I found out that one of Amelia's classmates, right? So she shared on a live a couple weeks ago. She's got a classmate that's also unvaccinated, right? So they kind of like hang out together because they're both woke kids, and really sweet girl. And she said that her mom watches a girl on Instagram named Talia. So she told this to Jeff today when he picked her up. She's like, yeah, she said she watches a girl on Instagram named Talia. And I hear her all the time at my house, and because she has these hour-long talks. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, you're going to school with somebody. So one of you on here has a daughter who's classmates with my daughter, is what I'm saying. And I don't think you know. I don't think you know that your daughter has a cool friend who's my daughter. And they have to remain friends because the rest of these classmates everybody's all sick, you know. Amelia is just Seb letting me know that all their classmates are sick. Of course they're sick. Oh, so, I don't know who you are. You probably know. Somebody knows that their kid goes to school with my kid. And I'm glad that you are at least woke, because if not, I'd be pulling my kid out right now and be like, they're going to report my ass. That's it. We have to leave. We have to leave town tonight. We're leaving. Oh, man. Well, hopefully you guys can still see me. We're going up that hillside in the desert here where sometimes you get no reception, you know. It's on 5G still. 5G, and the reception gets worse. Go figure.
I'll try and race through so we can.
No, don't race through it. Don't race. It's just that, you know, it's not in place for us to have better reception. 5G is here in Gwen Towers, so that they can continuously fry our brains up a little bit. That's all. That's why. These comments are just rolling in right here. So, back to a bit of this placenta stuff. I think I shared enough testimonials that came in with the insanity of why you can't even keep your own placenta. I'm just going, that's a lot of money. So I had some of you guys sending me calculations. I had one woman who was like, I have 6 kids. I have 6 kids and I didn't take any of their placentas. She's like, someone owes me a house, you know? And then we can gauge on how awake you really are. Some of you were like, that could have been my kid's college fund. I'm like, well, then they would have, for what? For them to go to one of these centers here and come out and think that, it's so messed up and backwards, right? Like, they don't want you to take your placenta that would alleviate from the follow-up visit you have to go to, or you don't have to. I hope you know you don't have to go. But you go to the follow-up visit with your OBGYN, right? And that's the visit where they give you the clipboard, and that clipboard has all these questions that are very sketchy. Do you have thoughts of hurting yourself or those around you? Do you own a gun in your house? Do you sometimes feel really sad and depressed? Do you feel really tired and you're looking at this and you're going, no I have a newborn at home and I live in America where I get no help. So yeah, some days I don't feel as good. I feel really upset and tired some days. So the average mom is taking these clipboards and she's circling yes to some of these. And you know what this visit is for, right? No one gives a crap about your feelings. No one cares. They're about to prescribe you postpartum medication. Okay? They're about to prescribe you antidepressants. That's what that clipboard is for, that you think, wow, they really are sensitive to what's going on in my life. They don't care. They're about to prescribe you an antidepressant. Okay? They can't offer you your own placenta because they've sold it. And it would have been the thing to help you. I'm done. I can't be PC anymore on this stuff. I just can't. No one's saying that you're not feeling depressed. No one's saying that postpartum is not a real thing. Don't take that the wrong way. But what we're saying is they couldn't profit off of it if it was like, oh, you know how you'd cure that with that thing that comes out of you that's kind of free? It came out of you, but you gave it to us? Thank you. They can't, you know. I didn't get one thank you card. I didn't get one thank you card from Kaiser. I didn't get one thank you card from Scripps. Did you? Do you remember one of those thank you cards coming in from them? No, it was like a bill.
Can't wait till they start charging for poop. Like a fortune.
Right?
It's coming out of me.
I almost wish I took a dump on those tables. I was just proud of myself that I didn't crap my pants when I was giving birth, because you're in like the worst position ever. They put you in a position that makes zero sense to having a baby, defies all gravity, and then they're like, oh, it's normal to poop yourself. They didn't want that. They wanted everything else. That's why they want to clip the cord so fast too. They know that cord blood is valuable. They know that cord blood has like power. And you know, you're not the scientist, you're not the doctor, so what are you going to do with this? So I just find all of it really interesting. Sorry guys, the sun's in my face, so I'm hardly seeing some of these comments. Postpartum depression results from the birthing rights being stolen. Yeah. Also seeing your baby go through all that trauma. That's very depressing as well. I'm so happy that some of you took the time and looked into the... so when you do give birth, if you're able to give birth the natural way, and you've experienced the natural oxytocin that comes over you as soon as it's all done, right? You get this hit of oxytocin that's like this high from heaven that you've never experienced in your life. It's incredible. Well, that also happens when mommy and baby first make eye contact. And yes, when babies are first born, things are going to be a blur anyways. Even without the eye ointment, it's going to be all blurred up. But there is something there that when they do look into your eyes and you look into theirs, and all of it, the skin to skin, the heartbeat, that moment is a magical moment that this entire industry removes from you. It steals from mothers. Okay, it steals from mothers. They don't want your baby to have all of the they want to wash them right away. They want to inject them right away. You know that when we were talking about the erythromycin, when they want to put that on them, and then the eye checkups, mothers who were messaging me talking about how traumatic the experience was for their preemies mostly to go through being strapped down with their eyeballs open like this. And you guys, I don't mean to take you down 10 different rabbit holes today, but MK mind control, trauma-based mind control. They start young. They start us young. And I know many of you are getting pretty upset about what's going on with these babies being strapped down over this eye stuff, but you're still okay with circumcision. But anyway, I'm not going to even talk about that right now, because if I get into that, I'll probably lose half of you. So, not going to be the day. Today's not the day. But let's just we can't cherry pick that one. You don't like babies being strapped down? Okay. I know that. That sucks, doesn't it? Babies being strapped down against their will? It's traumatic. It's really traumatic. I'll just wait till half of you leave. It's okay. I'll just wait. Oh, man. Can't even talk about half the things I want to talk about some days, you know. Who am I gonna... Somebody even messaged me today. She's like, my husband said, what did Talia ruin for us today? After she watched. I'm sorry.
What did Talia bring into the light?
What did she ruin? I know. But guys, if I can't talk to you guys about this stuff, who am I gonna talk to? My bird? I can't talk to Jeff about this stuff all day long. It's not as attractive. You guys feel me? I need him to still like want me in that way. I need him to still like look at me and be into me, you know? And not be like scared of me. So who am I gonna talk to if not you guys? I need you guys. I'm thankful that there's people out there who listen. Oh man. All right, I feel like I'm done with the placenta thing. I wanted to talk about, I'm sorry, Florida. I had this post yesterday about the Lauren book and Lorraine, like the East Coast has Lauren, the West Coast has Lorena. How interesting that that we actually have Hurricane Lorena going on right now. So funny, right? I'm like, Hurricane Lorena has been going on, last I checked, for years now in San Diego since the initial co-authoring of that tyrannical bill there. But like San Diego's been experiencing Hurricane Lorena at least. So I didn't want to be Debbie Downer by that post. I'm sorry. When I said, you know, here's what's bound to happen. Because if you see Lauren Book's post on her Facebook, and I'm glad a lot of woke parents jumped on there and were like, nope, absolutely not. We're going to kill this. Okay, great. What I meant by all these religious exemptions are about to be taken away is not to give you this thing of like, we're going to lose. That's not, and not to say don't fight. And I'm not saying that protesting and rallying is not going to work to waking up the masses, because that's like the most we can do. And if you can already do that, then that's awesome. So come on, I'm definitely not saying that. Some people took that in the wrong way. And what I meant by it though is, if you look at how much money they've already accepted from pharma, and that they are in charge right now, and they do right now, we can't vote them out quite yet. They will have their cycle to finish out. They do get to place the votes. So if they've already pocketed the money, you know, the fighting part might not, I'm sorry, overturn a bill unless they're willing to, you know, explain to pharma, like, can you take back this bribe money? I don't want it anymore. There's apparently this is a very, very unpopular subject. But so you have somebody like this Book, who they're even busting out stuff on her father, who was in February, I guess he got pulled over. He had a DUI, and for me it's like, well, that's child endangerment. You know, that's more child endangerment than any of this other stuff. And she has this post saying that rabbis and priests are approaching her. We know that's a lie. They're approaching her because they're just, you know, it's upsetting how many people are using religious exemptions. No. That is a lie. That's an outright lie. It's more like you are approaching rabbis, priests, and pastors, and you guys are strong-arming them. Look, if you read up on Section 501c3 on why churches are so about this topic, read the words in this, okay? I don't have it in front of my face right now, but anything that is a political topic, churches are not allowed to discuss, okay? If it's a political topic, churches are not allowed to talk about it, or else they will lose their tax exemptions, because these churches do not have to pay taxes with that donation money. Money can get donated to them. That's why people file for nonprofits, right? Because if it's donated in, they don't want to have to pay a tax on it. You got to do the proper paperwork and file that. That's a church. That's the church. If you have a church, you know that there's a lot of topics you are not allowed to discuss. What have they done? All of these bills, you guys, these vaccines and these mandates, and they've politicized the topic of vaccination. So what are you talking about, lady, that you got priests and rabbis coming up to you? First of all, nobody needs a priest's signature, a rabbi's signature, any other signatures on a religious exemption. Religious exemption is, the only people that need to sign it are the parents, mommy and daddy, okay? Not husband and wife, just the parents of the child, because that means that the two of them were on paper agreeing that here's a bunch of reasons why we do not want our child to have all this poison in their system. We don't want them to have mixed, animal DNA and human DNA, like because of religious reasons. The whole thing's a mess because you shouldn't have ever been okay with taking away somebody's personal freedoms to begin with. Forget religion. I'm always going to have to say that because we shouldn't have waited, And that's the mess that we're in right now. Churches are waking up. So some pastors are waking up, and some pastors are holding meetings off to the side. They're not doing it right on the pulpit on Sunday morning or even Sunday afternoon, but they're definitely talking about it and I've seen a lot of those videos circulate, and that's a good thing. It's very brave of them to do that. But this is why they can't. And I struggle with that. But then you're going, it's a political issue, so how can some churches host flu shot clinics? That part I don't understand. Stay out of that if that's a political issue. I'm not buying it, and I hope you aren't either, that there's pastors approaching the likes of Lauren Book. Can you please push for these religious exemptions? There's way too many Christians. There's way too many people, Catholics and Jews, and there's too many that are just against this stuff. It's just crazy. Yeah. Right. Who's coming on here? Oh, Mary's on here. Kimber, forget religions. It should be moral obligation. Exactly. Thank you. Hey, my dudes, I told my pastor and his wife about vaccines at the church potluck. Well, that's great. That's great, We got to be able to have these very uncomfortable conversations. Hey, so how you were talking earlier at the pulpit about hellfire? All of that, like, if I disobey and I'm going to end up in this pit of hell. That was really uncomfortable for me. Yeah, I know it's an uncomfortable topic. It's a very uncomfortable topic, all of this stuff in the Bible. It's very unsettling. Yes, I know. So do you know what else is unsettling? And then that's a good way to get into it, They gave you some bit of information that just it felt awkward, and now you just, well, here's something else. I think that's a good way to start a conversation, Just check your tone so that they don't think you're like judging them. But I think that these conversations need to take place. They need to happen. We need to be doing them at the school. We need to be doing them just with our neighbors and understanding, getting to the root of why people think the way that they think. And we know the answer is because it's one big cult, and they don't realize they're in a cult. We don't realize this stuff. Some of us until it's too late. But then when they start piecing it together, they go, oh my gosh, I've just been blindly believing this, like a religion. Yes. That's exactly what was happening there. So yeah, I'm not saying Florida's not going to win or anything, you guys. I'm just saying it's definitely looking bleak. Seeing the boldness of this. She even posts on here, this is the Lauren Book thing on her Facebook. She says the anti-vax movement is dangerous to Florida's public health, tourism industry, and our economy. Florida must act, not react, or risk the same fate as California and New York. What fate are you talking about that you're going to risk? Don't you want the same fate as California and New York? Because last I checked, California and New York are losing the religious freedoms California already has. But have you seen what's going on in New York right now? It's a crap bucket. You got kids crying outside of schools because they can't go into schools. You got kids that are still going into schools anyway. It's a mess. It's one big nightmare. And the news is not doing it doing its due diligence and reporting properly, as usual. News is never going to report on this properly. Pharmakia. Oh, how many times, like, the Bible's got to warn us of this kind of stuff, you know? The staff and the serpent and the rod and the serpent, and that's the pharma logo. It's got the snake on it. They don't hide this stuff that well. I just want you to know, like, the evil in our world doesn't hide from, you know, they're not trying to hide that they're evil. They love to constantly remind you and put it in your face that they're evil. You know? It's messed up. You should show her Twitter. Oh. Paused due to poor connection. Reconnected. Oh man, I think my connection on here is just terrible right now, guys. So, this girl, oh wait, sorry. Yeah, we spent the first half going into placenta. Oh man, was I paused for a while? They're like, best pause ever. Oh, that sucks. Maybe the reception's really terrible right now. What was it paused on? I bet I'm gonna get the screenshot later. Some terrible face that I made. So, yeah. Can you guys still hear me, or am I talking to myself right now? I'm seeing some people pop up. The Florida Freedom Keepers are on. Yeah, thank you for reaching out and messaging me. I am accepting some accounts as long as, you know, the admins just get in touch with me. The rest, you guys understand how I feel already about anonymous accounts, you know. No judgment if you want to follow them. I just don't want to deal with anonymous accounts, you know. I find lately that a lot of these big anonymous accounts have no problem slandering people, and it's very convenient for them because they get to sit behind their mask and they don't have to show face, you know, versus the rest of us who have to, like, put our faces out there and then be like, oops, well, crap, sorry, I messed up on that, or I didn't, you know. That's always rough. Or not, whatever. But yeah, you guys are a great account, so people can keep up with what's going on over there, and we obviously all hope you kill these bills. You guys got to kill these bills, and I know that even if at worst case you don't, you have in the fight woken up so many more people, because this is where it's getting to right now. We need people to get out there and get mad and get, you know, don't risk jail time. I get, you know they do give vaccines in jail, right? Like, there's that too. Just be careful. I'm just saying, just be careful. I'm like, yeah, you know, I would definitely put my life on the line. But it kind of also depends on where I get jailed, because I also don't want to go and you know, you have no rights as it is now. You really have no rights in prison. I'll tell you that. Not that I've been to prison, but yeah, forget that. Forget about my body, my choice. You can't be yelling that out in prison. So, and I still got little babies, you know. I'm definitely not a saint. Please don't. Not a saint. I want, this guy's laughing over here. Someone on here called me a saint. Okay, don't laugh too much. It's a long laugh.
Because that car looks funny.
Right? You can get vaccinated in jail, yes, of course. They will happily test out their new vaccines on you in jail. They at least will give you TB. They'll say they need to give you the tetanus, but it's not the tetanus, you guys. It's that Tdap. It's that juicy Tdap. And you can't ask for a titers test in prison either. Don't try it. Actually, try it. Just to see the reaction. Start educating them. I'm just saying, worst case scenario, what would I do if I had to end up in jail? I'd probably try to make some friends stat. You know.
Check out the big boss.
Check out the big boss. Who's the big boss here? Oh my god. I just can't. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. I have valuable information that can help you when you're out of here. I promise. Don't do it. It's terrible. Just so it's awful. That juicy D-tap. I know. Ugh. Can you imagine all of us? Our woke selves cannot be in jail. Not even forget the vaccines. Forget just the food. Can you imagine? Hey, does anybody know which local farm sourced the meat for today? You'd be like, what? Yeah, I don't do pasteurized milk. Do you guys have raw milk? Or I'll take almond milk. Guys, we can't. This is why we'd have to die. We'd have to be ready to die. You can't be in jail. I can't be in jail. Oh my God. Forget dropping the soap in the shower. Just, is this water packed with arsenic and fluoride? Look, I know you want to molest me right now, but there's other things happening that are going to be worse than you molesting me right now, okay? This water is trash poison. Sucks. Can we not do this in the shower at least? This is terrible. Sorry, you guys caught me. I shouldn't do after 5 o'clock lives. Terrible. I know. Or just be so annoying with all your questions that just nobody wants to come near you and talk to you. Nobody wants to come near you and talk to you. God, can you imagine?
Get the crazy eye.
Get the crazy eye. I'll just be crazy eye. Oh my gosh, it's looking like a comedy show right now in my mind. Just a bunch of woke moms in a prison. Because of all of our requests. Oh my gosh.
I'll watch that shit.
I'm just dying right now thinking about it. And it's awful.
It's awfully funny.
All of our requests. Oh. Can you imagine being out there? Okay, they're gonna make me like clean up this area over here. Now I'm just going off on tangents. I'm just talking with you. You're cleaning up in a spot and you just got like Gwen towers around you and you want to talk about some Gwen towers and they're like, dude, you are in jail.
Vinegar and baking soda.
Hey, this is I need to speak to the warden. Again, Talia? Yes, again. It's important. Yeah, terrible. Some of you guys on here following along. This is awful. Anyway, yeah, so you guys can't end up. Don't. My heart would break for you. Somebody go over there with some organic produce, please. Somebody go visit her. She doesn't need anything but like the supplements. Get her the supplements. You know, forget trading off cigarettes in prison and tampons. We're not trading that stuff off. Is this tampon organic cotton or is this? They would like, I'd probably be strangled on day one. Ooh, I'm How are you guys washing this stuff? This just down to the laundry detergent. It's okay. I'm just gonna live in my own dirt and like the microbiome. It's good for me. It's good for my body right now. They'd be like, you need to shower. No. You need to change your outfit at the very least. The detergent y'all use, you guys, it is, it's terrible for my skin. That would just do. I know, no essential oils in prison. No essential oils in prison. They know this. No TRS in prison. No.
Have to smuggle it in for you.
You'd have to smuggle that in. It's awful. Anyway. But it's not going to happen. Because while we are working towards waking more people up and the fight, I got to be inspirational. I got to try. I got to try to be inspirational here. While we're doing that, we are also working on being self-sufficient, right? Self-sufficient and our survival skills and getting things right and set up for our families. So that imminent food crisis is amongst us. You guys have been following what's going on with the crops. It's not good. I know many of you are. It's not good.
Or do you think will be geoengineered the food?
Yeah. Yep. So.
Tell them it's going to become Soylent Green.
I know, no, Soylent Green, I know. We'll be fine. We have a God that is more powerful than these terrible evil forces around us, right? Oh, Nicole's on here. Maggie, hi. Sorry, you guys caught me at the end of this where I'm like, now I got to wrap it all in and try to be somewhat like inspirational and inspire people to keep going, even though everything is just one big, just dark, depressing, abyss, never ending. What next? Yeah, we got into now, like, obviously the food crisis, what's going on, and the placenta black market. We went over that. The eye thing, that the erythromycin that they're putting in these babies' eyes has to do also with keeping our eyes just dependent on the eventual, like, what's going to happen, the optometrist, yearly visits, all of it. Crap. It's all crap. And we were talking about prison for a little bit. I don't know if you guys missed that.
That's the best part.
How woke people cannot be in prison. Just be whining too much about all the little things. That was fun.
It's an organic, natural shake.
Oh, man. Okay, well, all right. I want to be like, I gotta go, but clearly I don't, I can't be like, bye, because you guys know I have like 3 more hours on this car ride. So, I don't know if any questions came in for, like, where do you gotta go?
I gotta go straight ahead.
We gotta go forth.
Gotta go this way.
Oh, you guys hit up the news, okay? I know the Florida, you guys are not just learning from what happened in California. You're not learning like what worked, you're learning what didn't work, okay? So that is also key to taking into account what did not work out on the West Coast and how to do things a little differently, and please use that to your advantage. These journalists, we got to hold them accountable. And if they are there and at these rallies, because a lot of times what happens, here's what I learned about within California, the journalists would come, okay? You had people from the SAC-B, you had people that were there, and a lot of the people that were rallying, a lot of the parents that have been doing this for a long time knew they would be like, oh, that girl works for this newspaper, that girl works for this newspaper. And these journalists were coming and just snapping pictures, like with their iPhones, right? With their whatever smartphone that they had. And then they would turn around and do the write-up. Then they would turn around and write the nonsense. And instead of calling it what it is, what was actually there? Well, a bunch of parents of vaccine-injured kids, right? No, their headlining was vaccine skeptics. So what I would challenge you to do, and if I was in Florida and I saw these journalists there, I would definitely at least pull them aside and say, hey, you're with so-and-so channel, right? You're with whatever new. Can I get a picture with you? And like, get them on record, take a picture with them, right? Talk to them about what's actually happening with this bill. Tell them your own personal story if you want. Bring a mom with you. Always bring a witness. Say, hey, this girl here, and they will listen to you because now you've called them. Versus what happened in California, a lot of times people would be like, oh, they work for that paper, and then just like leave them be. Don't leave them be. Because they will go to their office and they will write up whatever garbage, but at least this way, even if they decide to write up whatever garbage, you have some interesting proof that they did speak with you, they knew exactly what was going on there, and if they still choose to turn it into garbage and to demonize the parents in this movement and the people that are out there fighting, then you can throw that on display and you can call them out on this and shame them. It is now it's high time we start shaming these journalists and this media that is turning the rest of the country against us. The reason that your neighbor doesn't like you and would want to report you, the reason that your mother-in-law would want to report you, okay, is because of the lie box in their house. It's because of these paid shill liars. And so they are the enemy too. And the more the media wakes up to the fact that we're not just going after pharma here, we're not just going after the likes of Lauren Book, but we are holding them accountable too. And their pockets haven't been as lined. They have a lot more on the line. They do. And it sucks, you know. But at first I was like, well, you know, we don't want to make them feel bad. It is their livelihood. Forget this livelihood. That's how we felt with these pediatricians too and these doctors. Well, it's their livelihood and I don't want to, like, you know. Are you kidding me? It's your lives. It's kids' lives. It's babies. Babies are dying. Here's a reminder. Babies are dying, and the weakest of our race that depends on us, that not only depends on us, but that's going to love us anyways, even when we hurt them. This is the worst part about it. This is why if you're not fighting for children, you suck. If you're not fighting for children, you really suck. And that's why, like, this is all encompassing, okay? These people in charge, they not only don't care about children, they hate children so much, and they use children, and they abuse children, okay? They are the evil. They are the absolute evil. And so if you think that you want to sit back for 2 seconds and consider their feelings, we're getting mad about placenta parts here, right? My placenta, my whatever. Just a reminder that yes, it was your placenta. You're in your womb that your body grew. That was your baby's home. That was your baby's lifeline. And every good benefit that comes from a placenta is ultimately to benefit the baby as well. Okay. Everything we're doing is a disservice to these kids. If you are not fighting for children, if you're not fighting for the weak, why are you even on earth? Many activists that come out that didn't want to do this, you notice that once you start speaking truth and once you start highlighting the very, like, corrupt and evil and the darkness of the world, once you start noticing that or doing that, don't you realize that it's so hard now to keep quiet? It's not something you could just do once. I've noticed. I never see anybody just like, hey guys, look at this little bit of, like, corruption here, and then go on their merry way, and then it's like they post pictures again of their dinner and their cats and whatever. It never works out that way, okay? It's because you posting that kind of truth, with as scary as it was, and as many friends you might have lost, friends and family members that were sleeping, that, like, hated you for your post of the truth. Do you notice that it, like, aches your bones to not continue speaking out? It's because human beings need purpose. And if you have no purpose in your life and you're thinking, like, why am I not feeling fulfilled? It's because, have you tried helping the weak? Have you tried speaking out for the children who cannot speak out? Try it. If you feel like there's no purpose in your life, try it. I guarantee you tomorrow you will feel like a new person. All right? That's what we're called here to do. So I will have to jump off right now because this thing is telling me it's going to boot me off in 30 seconds. But we'll try to chat soon, guys. I work all weekend, but, glad I got to do a little bit of a live today. Take care, guys.